Hi, Jeff here with Renegade Mattress Retailer, and it's happened. Big news in our industry this week in the last couple days. Mattress Firm declared bankruptcy. Of course, many who follow our industry trends and knowledge kind of knew that was going to be the case, that it was forthcoming. I actually broke about 4 months ago the first list of about 650 stores that were going to be closed that seemed to hold true to the 700 that ultimately are going to be closed here throughout this packaged up bankruptcy process. Now, first of all, I don't really rejoice in this, even though I'm a competitor. The reality is the people on the front lines who, allowed them to stay in business as long as they have and will allow them to keep going, they're the first that are going to be affected, because when you close 700 stores, it probably goes to stand that you'll lose at least maybe 1.5 to 2 people per store are going to have to be absorbed somewhere. So for them, I really do care for them and hope they land on their feet. I'm sure they'll do just fine. Now, here's what I think we as independent retailers need to do in light of this, because this one's going to move quick. Maybe even by the time you see this video, from when I recorded it to when I post it, it could be that stores on that initial round of closing list have already closed up shop, because the publication said within days that some of these stores would close and then others would take a while. Here's how I think we need to handle this. And if you go back to my most recent video that I posted just the other day, when I say we got to get closer with our customer in the relationship, here's how I think we talk about the biggest of the big in our industry going out of business. We've had Bonton go out of business this year. Elder Beerman Stores, Bonton Company, they went out of business April through really September of this year. Now we've got this Mattress Firm thing where stores will be closing. The reality is, as independent retailers, we can be a lot more nimble. We don't have to turn the Titanic. I think we need to be even more aggressive in our relationship with our customers, how we talk about our customers, and how we sell our products, who we source them from. I'm a big believer that, if you're going to talk about being a locally owned business, you need to act and be locally owned as well. Look for vendors that aren't part of big bank portfolio companies. I think that has value today with all the talk that's out there about the evil 1%. I think that's something that can translate. Now, listen, I'm not here to say it's right or it's wrong. I'm just saying it is a marketing advantage that for the consumer that appeals to it, that's a dog whistle message. They will latch right onto that. Oh, wow, you're locally owned, and what you're offering isn't run by big Wall Street bean counters only caring about shareholder value. I think that's a big opportunity for you to connect deeper into your locally owned independent mattress retailer message. Now, I know that's not always able to be done. As I stand, the company behind me, who I like, they were recently bought by a big Wall Street company. Does that mean they're going to get thrown out like the baby with the bathwater? Probably not. All right, we'll see how it goes. But the reality is, you have a choice as a merchant. In my last video, I said, let's stop relinquishing our duties, our roles as merchandisers. We can look, we can work, and probably should, maybe have to work a little harder than we might like. But if we can get that much more connective in the products we source and say, not only are we locally owned, listen, I'm the owner, you can shake my hand, you can look me in the eye, as opposed to clicks across a screen. If you have a problem, I'm going to be the guy to take care of it. I might even be the guy to visit your home. And if it's not me, it's somebody that personally works for me that will take care of your problem. Of course, we don't strive to have problems, because as a locally owned business, I look to make sure we have the best sales process, the best systems in place, and to sell you products that I would proudly have in my own home. These are all things you need to be talking about as a locally owned business. It's no longer enough to say you're locally owned. You have to drive deeper and deeper. And one of those things that I think you can do in light of all the big Wall Street money that's come into our industry, which if you look case by case by case, both past, present, and into the future, I think we see a pattern. We see a pattern of, a big ramp up and then a really big fall down. And it's happened time and again. And we could sit here and talk about why these things happen. I'm not an economist, but I know there's money to be made on the way up, and there's money to be made on the way down. And you or I are not part of those boardrooms, but what we can be is 100% in charge of our own little boardroom, our own little checkbook, our own little ad company, and take back control of it and really begin to get more and more connected and really tell people what it means to be a locally owned business that succeeds on Wall Street. So that's one way that I think you can get that much more connected with your customers. Say, listen, I only buy from people I know, family-owned companies just like me, because I want my products to represent what I stand for in your home. That's what I have for you this week. Thanks for checking out this issue of Renegade Mattress Retailer.